I'm riding every ride at Epic Universe today, but at what cost? Hey ma'am fam, and welcome to part 3 of the Barf-Meter. This is the series where I ride every ride at Universal's theme parks and let you know on a scale of 1 to 10 how likely you are to get motion sick. I've done this at Universal's other 2 parks, Universal Studios Florida and Islands of Adventure, and you asked for it to come to the brand new Epic Universe, so here I am. We've got 11 rides on the docket, so let's get to it. All right, we are kicking our day off here in our first portal, How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk. There are 3 rides in here, and simply walking in here will never get old. I will get emotional every time I walk in here for the rest of my life, not just because that gosh darn John Powell score is playing and is just rife with emotion, but it's so beautiful. I will never get over this. First up, Dragon Racers Rally. Now, all of the attractions here in Isle of Berk are themed after to the main kids from the How to Train Your Dragon series, and this one, we are going dragon racing with the best dragon racer in Berk, Astrid, and the worst dragon racer in Berk, Snotlout. Just don't ask him, because he will say he's the best. But you are going to go on one of these 2 towers here where you can see Stormfly, Astrid's dragon, on top of that one, and Hookfang, Snotlout's dragon, on top of the other one. And they are going to teach you what it feels like to go dragon racing, which is the sport of Berk. And if you've seen the movies, you know this is the one that they play where they pick up the sheep. In fact, the sheep are my favorite part of this attraction, because here in the queue, you've got the armored sheep who's just like hoping he doesn't get picked up again. You got this sheep up here who's in a catapult. You can tell it's just really over it. But on this attraction, you've got 2 options. You can just sit there and enjoy spinning around and around and enjoy the beautiful view of Berk and Epic Universe, or you can try and flip it and barrel roll it as many times as you can. Feels like a good one to start on the Barf-Meter, so let's go. Now, I should note this attraction has a 48-inch height requirement. It does have a test seat out front if you'd like to try that out, and it does not take Universal Express. So if you're paying for Express, it will not work on the ride. The only way to skip this queue is by a VIP tour, which we have videos on both Express and VIP tours if you want to see what those are like. All right, ride 1, Dragon Racers Rally. Now, what I will say about that ride is I don't think it's worth a 45-minute wait. I know that's not that long, but it's a really slow load and unload attraction, and I think you can spend 45 minutes better elsewhere. Don't tell Alan I said that. He loves that ride. I do too. I like it a lot. I actually think Alan would also say don't spend 45 minutes in line for it. But, okay, that's not the point. The point, if you want to know where we'd rank all these, we did a ride and rank where we ranked every ride against each other to help you prioritize. Anyway, okay, Dragon Racers Rally. Here's the thing. Now, before I reveal my Barf-Meter rating, I do want to say that for this video, because this is a brand new park, and because motion sickness affects everybody differently, I did reach out to you, the ma'am fam, for some assistance. I wanted some feedback from some other people just because there's not as much discourse around this park yet, because not as many people have been, as to what rides predominantly make people nauseous or feel unwell, etc. So I sent out a poll on Patreon and in our Discord that anybody in the ma'am cam could fill out, and I wanted to get your feedback as well. So before I give my final rating, I want to note that about half of you have not ridden this ride that have been to Epic Universe. But of the half that has, 42.5% of people said they didn't get any motion sickness on this ride. 8.5% of people said they got a little motion sick, and less than 1% of people said they got a lot motion sick on this ride. When I asked for more info, one person said they don't like any kind of drop attraction, like their least favorite rides are things like Tower of Terror, Dr. Doom's Fear Fall, and even though this is nowhere as quick or as intense as those, they still didn't like that kind of stomach in your throat feeling that this ride has potential to cause. And another person said that they were perfectly fine just riding the ride until they tried to barrel roll it, and then they started feeling nauseous because they were trying to flip it upside down. For me, this ride doesn't make me particularly nauseous. A little bit if I'm trying to flip it, but if I'm just riding it and enjoying the view, it doesn't make me personally nauseous at all. But I know that, again, for some people, just the swooping feeling of going up and down at a tall height is enough to make you feel a little queasy. And again, if you are trying to flip it like this, you do have the potential of making your stomach much more upset. So it's kind of hard to rank this one because there's so much variability. But on the Barf-Meter, which is going to be a 0, and 0 is like standing still, not moving at all, perfectly fine. And 10 is like Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, or the Simpsons ride, or Mission Space Orange at Disney. Like so motion sick nauseous. That's a 10. So what to rate it? I'm gonna say, if you're not trying to spin, it's actually a very nice, gentle ride, not much different than like Dumbo as far as you're just kind of spinning around. You're doing a little bit of flying, soaring motion, but you're mostly just going around and looking at the view. So I'm gonna give that a 3.5, I think, if you're not trying to spin, just for the like swooping feeling, but it's very gentle and beautiful. If you are trying to spin, I'm gonna give it a 6.5, and I'm not giving it higher than that because it's actually really hard to flip them. It is very hard to barrel roll. I've done 3 at most. Alan did like 12 because he's a freak. But most people, because of how hard it is, they've made it hard to barrel roll on purpose because they don't want people just flipping it like that one woman at Mall of America, I think, because of people getting sick. So it's very hard to flip them. If it was easier, it'd be higher. But if you're just trying to do the rocking motion like this and flip yourself up and down, and if you get it around once or twice, I'm gonna say it's a 6.5. And just for reference, the rides that make me personally the most motion sick: roller coasters I'm typically fine with, moving vehicles, practical sets I'm typically fine with. It's when you introduce a lot of screens, that's when I start to get motion sick. For me personally, the most motion sick I've ever felt on an attraction is probably Race Through New York starring Jimmy Fallon, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. Star Tours gets me sometimes pretty bad, occasionally Mission Space Orange, and the Simpsons ride. So just so you have a frame of reference where I personally am coming from. Next up, we're headed to Hiccup's Wing Gliders. This is Hiccup's attraction, as the name would suggest, and he is helping all of us Vikings in training learn what it's like to fly on the back of a dragon. So he's made a dragon glider. However, before he gets the chance to put the wings on it, Toothless, that silly scamp, sets us off careening through Isle of Berk. This attraction is a family-friendly coaster, no screens, all practical, soaring through the entire world. It has a 40-inch height requirement, and intensity-wise, I would put it somewhere between Flight of the Hippogriff or Slinky Dog Dash at the bottom and Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure TM on the top. So it's a really nice, wonderful family coaster and one of my favorite rides in the park. I love that ride so much. It makes me teary every time I ride it because the music is just like, it just swells your heart. And this is also the first ride I rode at Epic. And like, so it's just like, I love it so much. It's such a great attraction. But where does it rate on our scale? Now, according to you, the majority of you that have been to Epic rode this ride, and 77.6% of you said you did not feel nauseous at all. 4.7 said a little, and 1.9 said a lot. So about 7% of you got a somewhat motion sick on this, but vast majority did not at all. I saw a plane and I thought for a second it was a dragon because my brain is coded to think it's gonna be a dragon. Anyway, what to rate this? Let me say this, I've never once gotten an ounce of motion sickness on this ride. I do not tend to get motion sick on roller coasters, especially not ones like this. The closest equivalent I can give you is Slinky Dog Dash, in the sense that there is a small rollback, just like Slinky Dog Dash. There are some kind of curves like Slinky Dog Dash, but it does not go super fast. It does not have any big drops. It does not have a drop like Hagrid's or Rise of the Resistance. It does not go upside down. It is a pretty solid family coaster. But if you get motion sick on Slinky Dog Dash, you're probably gonna get motion sick here. My mom sometimes gets motion sick on roller coasters, and she felt a little motion sick getting off this one. So I'm gonna give it a 5, but that's only if you get motion sick on roller coasters. If you are fine on roller coasters, you will be fine on this most likely. And now it's time for my least favorite ride in Berk, Fire Drill, because this is a water ride, and you probably know how I feel about those. This is run by Rough Nut and Tough Nut, Berk's Chaos Twins. When you live amongst the dragons, you know, fires tend to happen, so you gotta know how to put those bad boys out. So the twins have taken over Fire School and are showing you how to put out fires. So you're gonna be using water guns on your boat, because this is a shooter ride on the water, and you will be aiming at targets around you as well as, if you want to be mean, the other boat. The more targets you hit, the higher points you get. If you hit the blue targets, you may end up soaked, and at the end, one of the twins teams will be crowned a winner. It does not have an official height requirement, although you have to be able to sit there or stand on your own, so no handheld infants. And here we go, I guess. I forgot my rain jacket in my car, and I don't feel like wearing a poncho right now because it's so hot. So since I have a hat, I would get a poncho if I didn't have a hat, but since I have a hat and I, knock on wood, haven't gotten that wet on this the last few times because of the poncho, and I think because I ducked down, I'm just gonna put my hair up in my hat and hope for the best. This is honestly probably a horrible idea because now's the time I'll get soaked, but I'm mostly usually worried about my face and hair, and I can take care of that with my sunglasses and hat. And I am wearing moisture wicking because I'm wearing like a tennis dress. So I may regret this. Update, that was a terrible idea. It's probably not hard to tell. It's mostly my back. I kind of forgot that the losing team gets sprayed at the end, so there was no avoiding it because I didn't help my team at all. I just ducked. So, sorry. And so therefore, we got dunked on at the end. And my back is quite wet right now. My arms are wet, but at least my hair's dry. So, as far as the barf meter goes for that one, the only thing that makes me want to barf about it is how wet you could get. But it's a very slow moving boat ride. It's actually a very fun, very cute ride if you don't mind getting wet or you have the proper attire. Even in the poll of the people that have ridden it, not a single person said they were nauseous a little or a lot. I think if you can ride a boat going like 2 miles an hour, you can ride this without any nausea concerns. So it's getting a 0.5 on the barf meter scale because, I mean, I guess you're moving technically. Next up, we are headed to one of the most intense rides of the park, certainly the most intense coaster in the park, Stardust Racers. This dueling coaster is designed to make it feel like you are racing the other car as you sail on comets across the skies, which is a pastime by the Celestians who live here in Celestial Park. It hits speeds of 62 miles an hour and has 0 brake zones. Once you start, you do not stop. And it's known for a signature move called the Celestial Spin, which is an inversion where the two trains intertwine around each other. It has a 48-inch height requirement, and a lot of people compare the intensity of this one to something like Jurassic World Velocicoaster. This was certainly one of the most mentioned when I sent out the survey, so let's hitch a ride on a Comet and see how it fares on the barf meter. That ride is such a beautiful, exhilarating coaster. It is so much fun, especially at night, but it's intense. So I would like to point out that I personally have never gotten motion sick on it, but again, I don't tend to get motion sick on coasters. However, when I polled you, of the people that had ridden it, almost 20% said they got some degree of motion sickness, which is the second highest for the rides in Epic Universe. 15.9% said yes a little, 4.7% said yes a lot. And in some of the comments, people said that it made them feel a little bit dizzy or a little bit wobbly getting off. And I think that could be attributed to the fact that you don't stop the entire time. There are no brake zones, like I said. For the minute you hit go, you are moving that entire coaster, and it's a long coaster. coaster until you stop. So yeah, I do think there is a chance, especially if you're not used to roller coasters, of getting off and feeling just a little like woof, like where am I, a little out of sorts. But I don't know that it would cause the nausea kind of motion sick as much as, again, dizzy, maybe in your head a little bit kind of motion sick. That said, still, based on the fact that this is a very intense coaster and that can make people feel queasy, and based on the numbers you guys gave me, I'm gonna put this one at a 7.5 on the Barf-Meter. I personally don't think it's as intense as Velocicoaster because it only goes upside down on one inversion, whereas there's 4 on Velocicoaster. But I think the nonstop, just jetting from the word go, and then the fact that you do a couple of these where you get the stomach kind of like woof feeling a few times, no big drops or anything, but yeah, I think it's just intense, and that does upset some people's tums. What I will say as I'm walking away though is it's incredibly smooth. It is way smoother than like Rip Ride Rocket or even Incredible Hulk. I think it's even smoother than Velocicoaster at this point. So I hope the Barf-Meter doesn't scare you, because if you like coasters, it's definitely a must-do, and ideally do it twice on each track, and ideally do it once during the day and once at night. Next up, we are headed into the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic, because I heard there is some commotion happening today at the British Ministry, and my presence has been requested to attend a trial. Update, it's a 120-minute wait, and the single rider line, I was told, could take that long, if not longer. So, nothing a line beer can't fix. Be right back. Line beer acquired. Pro tip, if there's a line at Bar Moonshine and you want beer, go to Goblet Noir. They usually don't have a line, and you can order at the bar or mobile order and grab yourself a beer. Any of the specialty Wizarding World beers. This is the Al Current Saison, which is exclusive to this Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Slaps hard. Oh, it's so good. And it is going to keep me company in this long wait. Now, while most of this Wizarding World Ministry of Magic takes place in 1920s Paris, as seen in the Fantastic Beasts films, the attraction Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry takes place in 1990s UK. We are headed to the British Ministry of Magic via Floo powder, time turners, and magic, because today is the trial for Dolores Umbridge for her crimes against the Wizarding World. She did terrible things, as we've seen and read, plus she sent muggles to Azkaban because she's a monster. And we are all invited guests to come watch justice be served, and as is with the stories as you know and love them, I'm sure nothing will go wrong. This attraction has a 40-inch height requirement, 40, and while it is not in 3D, it utilizes both practical sets as well as screens to tell the story. Additionally, it is a very interesting ride vehicle. It is an omnidirectional elevator, as you probably recall from Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. They have made that come true. So you're gonna bounce up and down and feel like you are suspended in an elevator throughout the attraction. Also, the kind team member did tell me that the single rider line, again, can be as long as, if not longer, than the regular queue because of how they pull people. But I think I'm gonna try it because I wanna see what the single rider misses, and I wanna see in the queue, and I wanna see how long it takes. So, line beer, here we go. Simply stunning every time. And as a pro tip, if you just want to see this, if you don't want to ride, come through the single rider sign. You'll get the experience of going through the Floo, and you'll get to see the atrium right here, and then you could just exit. Harry Potter and the Battle of the Ministry, check. So in the single rider line, it took me about 50 minutes on a posted 120-minute wait, which is obviously good. It's like less than half. Still 50 minutes, and I skipped pretty much the entire queue. You get the experience of walking through the flue and seeing the ministry lobby, which is the atrium is like unbelievable, but you miss everything else. You do not get to see the beautiful map. You do not get to see the old ministers. You don't get to see the oars. You don't get to see Umbridge's office and Higgledy. Like, you miss a lot of it. So honestly, especially knowing, as the team member said, there's no way to tell if it's gonna be relatively short like I did or as long as the wait, if not longer, I would try waiting in the regular queue. We rope dropped it for our best day ever in Epic, which was a really good move, and we got on it like 35 minutes. So I would recommend rope dropping it, honestly, at this point, because that queue is amazing. I think it's the best queue on planet Earth, and it's a bummer to wait 50 minutes and just see tile walls mostly, but it's a risk if you're gonna even see it in 50 minutes. It could have been 2 hours. That said, great ride. I am thrilled I got to ride it today. And what I think makes a lot of people nauseous on this ride is actually what I think makes the ride so incredible, and that's the ride vehicle. Again, it's that omnidirectional elevator, and the technology they are using to make that elevator is unbelievable, but it's also what makes people nauseous. In fact, this is the most nauseating ride in Epic Universe, according to you, and I would have said the same thing, even if I hadn't polled you. Of the people that have ridden this ride, about 25% of you said that it made you nauseous. 22.4% said a little nauseous. 1.9% said a lot nauseous, which again, cumulatively is the most of any ride in the park. When asked about specifics, people said things about the screens making them nauseous, the movement of the elevators. Some people said once they moved into the scenes that had more practical sets, they felt better. Even when I came on this ride on my media group, people weren't feeling well, which wasn't the same for most other rides. So I do think this one has the potential to make you the most nauseous of any ride at Epic Universe if you get motion sick, but I don't think it is near as nauseating as Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, Simpsons, or Jimmy Fallon, or for me, even Spider-Man. But I think if Spider-Man and Transformers make you nauseous, there's a good chance this will too. And again, I personally have never felt nauseous on it, and I just drank a beer online and got on and felt fine, but it is the one I've heard the most people say made them feel a little queasy. So for that reason, on this scale, I'm gonna give it an 8 on the Barf-Meter. I will say I do think it's such an incredible ride that like, it's kind of worth being nauseous, if that makes sense. I know you don't wanna ruin your whole day, but there are rides that make me nauseous that I'm like, no, I'm not ruining my day to ride The Simpsons or Jimmy Fallon. But as a Harry Potter fan especially, it's a pretty spectacular attraction. So I do think it's kind of worth the risk for a lot of people, but only you can make that decision. But if you've ridden it, weigh in the comments how it made you feel. We're headed now into my favorite portal, Dark Universe, Halloween Girlies Rise Up. It's been a long thought process because I love this park so much. In every sense of the word, I think this park is spectacular. The detail, the music, the rides, the food, the characters, the entertainment, everything about it I think is so wonderful. But when I come here for funsies, I find myself vibing in Darkmoor. It's just my vibe. And I know I'm a Harry Potter girly, I'm a Slytherin, and I do love me some Wizarding World, and I do love me some Burke. But man, there's something about Darkmoor that keeps me coming back time and time again. And you know what? Maybe it's the Burning Blade. Maybe they put something in the crossbow. It is a nefarious place. Maybe some things happening that I'm just drawn to Darkmoor. But we are headed here. There's 2 more attractions on our list. 2 that I think make people a little squirrely when it comes to motion sickness. Oh no. Monsters have been sighted. Oh my gosh. If you want to know what I'm talking about, check out my secrets video where there's over 200 different secrets of Epic Universe, from tiny little details that you'll never notice to some history and making of fun facts. But there's 2 attractions here that I do think give people pause when it comes to motion sickness. One of them is a spinning coaster, and one of them uses the same ride system as Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. So let's do both, see how we think. First up, we're headed to Curse of the Werewolf, which is a spinning roller coaster set here in the forest amongst the Guild of the Mystics. You see Maliva and the other mystics have set up camp here, and they're warning you that you have the mark of the werewolf. So better pay close attention, better be on the lookout, and just hope that you don't get bit, because you know what happens if you do. This attraction has a 40 40-inch height requirement, and the reason again that it gives some people the squirrely feelings is because it's a spinning coaster. No two rides are ever going to be the same. It all is about the weight of your car and how people are positioned, how much you spin. I've been on this ride and spun around multiple times. I've been on this ride and not spun at all. So it's really a gamble, and I think that's what makes people nervous about this one.
Are you filming a documentary?
Yeah.
Of Darkmoor?
I am trying to see how much you want to throw up on things.
How much I want to throw up on things?
How much the people might want to throw
up.
Oh,
the people! Oh,
like, do you want to throw up when you go see Victoria?
You know, well, I can't let her know that I do that, but that's why I have a bucket nearby.
Sure.
You know what really makes me throw up?
What?
I'll tell you this: the gill man, he's disgusting. Yeah. I don't like sushi myself, but you know.
He's not secretly a little nice.
The gill man?
Yeah.
No, you know who actually has a very big heart is the Phantom of the Opera.
Oh,
yes,
sure, he just loves her.
He does, he loves her. He's also very insecure about his little face, you know, but it is okay. We had the mirrors here and there, or we smudge them so he can't see because he's a little touchy. That's okay.
Yeah, what are you looking for?
Nothing really. I'm looking for a thingy, a green, a gray, a wrinkly thingy. That is what I'm looking
like
for.
Like a heart?
A heart? No, hearts are red. That's it, gray.
Gray, like
gray.
A lungs?
Maybe lungs. That's like a smoker lung. But, something like that. I don't know. Yeah. I'm going to find it. I'm looking for it.
Good luck.
Yeah. And also, you know who I like? Larry Talbot. He's a nice guy.
Okay.
Certain days of the week, of the month,
We'll look for him. Yeah.
Yeah. But the gill man, he makes me... That's what he does.
Got it. Noted.
I don't like sushi, you know?
Oh my God, jump scare. I was looking for my graph on Curse the Werewolf and Igor came up behind me. But there you have it. There's where Igor's barf meter would be, and it's Gillman, which, he's my favorite classic monster. So I want Igor to like me because I am a delightful freak. But we'll have to agree to disagree on that one. Anyway, I'm telling you, this park is just the best. And it's because of Igor and things like it. Anyway, Curse the Werewolf. According to those of you who have written it, 47.7% of you said you were not at all nauseous, 11.2% said a little nauseous, and 4.7% said a lot nauseous. So that's about 16-ish% or so. So not as much as some of the other rides we've done recently, but still a significant number. And again, it's that spinning factor. It's the fact that you don't know how much you're gonna spin that makes people wary to ride it. One person said that their partner, who's very susceptible to motion sickness, had to sit down for 30 minutes after this attraction. Other people said they were perfectly fine getting off of it, but they didn't expect that. So again, the variability aspect of it is what makes it fun or more worrisome. So for the barf meter scale, I'm gonna give it a 7. I think if it was more reliably spinning, like if it was like a Primeval Whirl, may it rest in pieces, where you knew it was gonna spin a certain amount of times, it would be higher. But the fact that you could go on it and not have any spinning drops it down just a little bit under Stardust Racers, because I think Stardust Racers is intense and gonna make you feel the way you feel every single time without fail, whereas here there's at least a chance you might not feel that bad, so it's a little bit lower. But still, if you're heavily motion sick to spinning motions, I would skip this one. Also, it tends to get a long wait because that is a slow load and unload. So if you don't have Express, this isn't one I'd prioritize anyway, just because it is fun. I enjoy it a lot, but it's pretty short. And there's other more e-ticket attractions and things to do in this park over prioritizing Curse the Werewolf. But I have had fun every time I've ridden it, except for the time that lady's hair got in my mouth. Now we are headed to the e-ticket attraction in this world, plus my favorite ride in the entire park, Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein Experiment. Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein Experiment is taking us into the Frankenstein Manor, where Dr. Victoria Frankenstein has continued the work from her great-great-grandfather, Dr. Henry Frankenstein, as seen in the original Frankenstein film. She has created her own monster and is trying to prove to the world that you can tame the monsters and they can live among us. She has them all housed in the catacombs underneath the manor, and she's going to prove to us that it all is well by showing us she's tamed the scariest and most lethal monster of them all, Dracula. And as you can imagine, if you have a house full of monsters underneath it, nothing ever goes wrong. Now, this attraction has a 48-inch height requirement. The reason this attraction gives a lot of people pause is because it is the same ride system as Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, which is one of the rides that's most notorious for causing extreme motion sickness. It doesn't help that Igor's little demonstration shows the ride vehicle going a little batty. Hilarious fun. Oh look, here's Creature. Anyway, I love this attraction, not only because I'm a Halloween girly, but because there are 14 of the most insanely amazing, jaw-dropping animatronics I've ever seen on this attraction. I love the story, I love the vibe, I love that it's a little spooky. I love that Universal's like, yeah, this is gonna be scary, and that's okay. If you're scared or you're not old enough to enjoy this, that's okay. And I appreciate that from them. They knew who their audience was on this one, and they crushed it.
Thing to be afraid of. He is amazing, better than the original. He is the key to our most exciting experiment.
I literally love that ride so much. Like, I have ridden it, I don't even know how many times at this point, because I'm lucky. And I notice something new every single time. It is a chef's kiss ride. I love it so much, but where does it fit on the Barf-Meter? Now, according to you, 80.4% of you said it does not make you nauseous at all. 12.1% said a little, and 0.9% said a lot. And when I asked for specifics, there were multiple comments about how you were nervous because Harry Potter the Forbidden Journey makes you nauseous, but this didn't at all. You were shocked, as was I, because I felt the same way. You are still on the Kuka Arm ride vehicle, and it is moving you like this, and you do spend a fair amount of time on your back, but because of the smoothness of the ride and the fact that there are so many animatronics and practical sets, it's not like Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey where like multiple sets are just the Quidditch scenes where you're just looking at a screen feeling nauseous. It's all practical sets with some screens to enhance them, and the screens are usually far enough away for you that they're more of the background, and in the foreground are the real sets and the real animatronics. So because of that, I've never gotten motion sick on this ride. I've ridden it multiple times in a row and not gotten motion sick. And again, a lot of you said the same thing, like you were worried and you were shocked how good you felt coming off. On the Barf-Meter, I'm gonna give it a 5 because yeah, moving like this, being put up on your back, moving around like this a little bit can be a little disorienting. And it does still use screens, but I think it is way better than people anticipate. And I think most people come off this ride feeling fine, except for maybe a little scared. Hello. What you looking at?
Not much. May I help you with something?
It just feels like you're investigating. And I have to tell you about what I heard right here. I heard two people having a conversation, and they said to go to the windmill and tell them that Dr. Jekyll sent you. Do you know Dr. Jekyll?
I've heard of him. The man is a hack.
Do you know where the windmill is?
Of course I do, don't you?
The Blade, the tavern?
Yes.
Do you know that they sell Monocaine there?
Of course they do.
Yeah.
Any fine establishment here at Darkmore will sell Monocaine.
Does that mean that I could become invisible too?
Means you could. Results are not guaranteed.
Right.
It is all dependent upon your DNA.
What could we do if we were both invisible? Let's think about this.
Take over the world.
Let's do it.
Well, go get some Monocaine, come back and talk to me.
And we'll take over the world.
Come see me when no one else can see you.
Okay, got it. Don't tell the Invisible Man I'm not gonna go get Monocaine right now because we've got 4 more rides to do. And the first of those is the Constellation Carousel, the other ride here in Celestial Park. This is unlike any carousel you've ever been on because not only is there one main turntable that swirls the whole thing about, but there are 3 others, and then each individual ride vehicle can also turn 360 and raise up to 6 feet in the air. There's no height requirement here, but you cannot be a lap-sitting infant. Each of the ride vehicles is designed after a constellation symbol, and if you think they're cool during the day, just wait till you see them at night when those fiber optic lights glow in the shape of those constellations. In fact, this entire attraction looks way, way cooler at night, so let's give it a celestial spin. Really is a beautiful ride. It's a great filler attraction because unless it's raining and all the outdoor rides have to close, this one doesn't because it's undercover. Outdoor rides closing because of the weather is actually lightning. It has nothing to do with rain. But because it's undercover, it doesn't have to close. That's when it gets a long line, and then it gets a longer line at night. But most of the time throughout the day, it's got like a 15-minute wait. That's what it has right now. And it's a beautiful filler attraction, especially if you're someone like me that loves a carousel. It feels simple, it feels quaint, it feels classic, and I love to do it. But does it make you nauseous? According to most of you, No, not even a little bit. 0.9% of you said a little, but 64.5% of you said not at all. I agree. Even though technically it's spinning because it's a carousel and technically your creature can move, I don't think most people are going to get nauseous on this. I brought my mom on this. She was not remotely nauseous. I'm going to give it a 2 because obviously you're moving and technically you are going in circles, but it is very gentle. It's very beautiful. The music changes every ride. It's a lovely attraction, and I think most people are going to be A-okay on this one. Which means, friends, we have one final portal left, so here we go into Super Nintendo World. There are 3 rides here in Super Nintendo World, and we're gonna start with Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, which right now has an 80-minute wait, which is honestly not very bad for this ride. When I tell you to come to this world in the late afternoon, early evening, I mean it. It will be much better, I promise. It gets so busy in the mornings. It's so hot in this world. There's not a ton of shade. And every time I've come in the late afternoon, evening, nighttime, it's been way better as far as wait times go for the rides and the games. So just a little pro tip. Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge is gonna put you inside the beloved video game Mario Kart, where you are joining Team Mario to face off against Team Bowser on a variety of courses that you've seen in Mario Kart. It has a 40-inch height requirement, and it uses augmented reality combined with practical sets to bring the attraction to life. So as you weave through iconic places such as Rainbow Road, you will be wearing augmented reality goggles, which will allow you to see things such as question blocks and the other racers and Koopa shells you're firing at them, but you are physically moving in a car going through practical sets. It's a ton of fun, and there is great rewritability, especially if you are using a power-up band to connect to the Universal app to try and collect special question blocks, etc. So let's go see if Team Mario can get the W. I really do think that ride is so fun. I have a great time every time I ride it. Once you figure out how to shoot, it becomes even more fun. So just remember, it's where you're looking and where your head's turning. So like if you want to shoot Bowser over there, you got to look at Bowser over there. And then if you want to shoot Leroy over here, you got to look like that. I think I just combined them. Lenny and Roy. Leroy. If you want to shoot either of them, look over there and that will help you aim. But it is such a fun ride. I just have a blast every time. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Of those of you who have ridden this, 72% said you did not get nauseous at all, 9.3% said a little, and 2.8% said a lot. So about 11-12% of you felt a little motion sickness on this. And when I asked how it made you feel, and for specifics, one person pointed out that they gave them a little bit of a headache trying to look through the glasses on top of their actual glasses, and it made it a little bit blurry. Somebody else said that the VR, the AR, made them a little bit nauseous. So I can understand that, especially if you're not used to using anything like AR. It can be kind of stressful to try and look through the glasses and figure out what you're looking at, and it can be a little disorienting. One tip I have for you though is make sure that the thing is tight enough on your head. You need to tighten it, and you need to make sure that the glasses are in the right angle, because otherwise you're trying to look through them and it's not right. So don't be worried about adjusting your visor. They're very adjustable. All that said, I do think the combination of moving through big practical sets but do use screens plus that augmented reality can make some people motion sick. Sometimes you spin, but not very fast. However, I'm still giving this a 6 on the Barf-Meter scale. For me personally, I've ridden this lots of times because they have this here as well as Hollywood as well as Tokyo. And I've never felt nauseous, but I do agree it can be a little bit disorienting if you're not used to it at all. Now we're headed downstairs to ride my nemesis ride, Yoshi's Adventure. This is a sweet, slow-moving attraction that takes you on a journey with a colorful Yoshi in search of the colorful eggs. It has a 34-inch height requirement, and it's adorable. So you might be like, how on earth could this ride be your nemesis? Well, that's because all I yearn for in life is the pink Yoshi, and I have been robbed of it every time. Toadette, make it happen. Okay.
All right, switch to yellow.
Thank you. think is 4 behind me, and at least it's a small child and her mom, and she looks happy to have it. Hey, hey! You will never be mine. Another adventure, another not pink Yoshi. What's it gonna take, you know? But let's talk about what's important here. Not my sorrows over the pink Yoshi. One day, it's the Barf-Meter. 0.5. It's a slow moving ride. If moving at 2 miles an hour will make you nauseous, all right, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's very slow. There's not any hills. It's just a slow, cute family ride. So very low on the Barf-Meter scale. I forgot to say, you all agreed with me. Over 80% of you said you didn't feel remotely nauseous on Yoshi's Adventure, and the other almost 20% hadn't ridden it. So we're all in alignment there. The only thing nauseating is when people get the pink Yoshi and don't feel the joy they should. Headed to do our final ride of the day now. We are going into DK country to check out a little mine cart madness. It is impossible not to dance as we head to the Golden Temple to try and save the banana from the Tiki Tac tribe. Minecart madness makes all of your shooting out of a barrel dreams come true as you help Donkey and Diddy Kong save that golden banana on a runaway minecart. It has a 40-inch height requirement, and it is a roller coaster with a very cool technology, making it seem like you are on a track that you're not actually on. Oh my gosh, I've never noticed these Pikmin. Those little rascals are everywhere. Wow. Secrets unveil themselves every time I'm here. Anyway, it's a very cool technology, a very fun attraction, very popular attraction. So let's see how we feel after this one. All right, well, I was eyeing the single rider queue. However, it is now closed. Team member told me it is now longer than standby. So they don't want people waiting that long just to be split up if they may as well just wait in standby. So there you have it. This one doesn't have express also. Let's go. Wait, that's the wrong part of this world. As I said in our best day ever, an epic video, if you want to see us spend 14 hours in this park, rope drop to park close, check it out. But every time I'm in that line, I'm annoyed because who wants to wait in lines? No one. And you can't skip it without a VIP tour. But dang if that ride isn't fun. I have a good time every time. But where does it rate? Because the thing about that ride is it doesn't really make me nauseous, or I don't think many people nauseous. It's not very smooth. It's pretty jerky because you're in a minecart, so it's like, and it wiggles about quite a bit. On the poll, a third of you said you haven't ridden it, but 57% of you said you did not get nauseous at all, and 9.3% of you said a little nauseous. No one said a lot nauseous. However, like I was saying, it's not so much that you get nauseous, but you still maybe don't feel great coming off of it because you get rattled around a little bit. You get thrown about a little more than maybe you expect looking at it on the ground, which I do believe is on purpose. It's part of the effect of being in the rickety minecart on that rickety track. But overall, it's not super nausea-inducing. However, because it may leave you feeling a little rattled, I'm gonna put it at a 5.5 on the Barf-Meter, Also because unlike Hiccup's wing gliders, there are 2 moments you can't see from the ground that are more intense drops than you may be expecting, and it does give you that stomach in your throat kind of feeling. Nothing as intense as like Velocicoaster or Hulk or Rip Ride Rocket or even Expedition Everest. Nothing like that. It's just a little bit of like a down curve and you're like, woo, a little bit, especially because you maybe don't expect it because you can't see it till you're on the ride. But more than anything, I think on this ride, it is, you just get rattled around a lot. Like, I've always am nervous holding onto the camera because there's not lockers, so I'm holding on with all my might because it's kind of like this in my hands. I'm not filming on the ride, I mean down at my feet. So yeah, I think you have the potential to come off this one feeling a little rattled, either because of that whoosh stomach feeling or just because it kind of throws you about. But honestly, I have a great time every time I ride this one. I love Professor Chops. I love this ride at night. I think it's so fun. I love the queue. I love the animatronics on the ride. It's like, I think my top 5, it's definitely my top 5 in the park. So don't let this deter you as I have with anything. Just know it's maybe a little rougher than it looks. Well, friends, that is a wrap on the Barf-Meter, and here you have it, from Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry all the way down to Fire Drill and Yoshi's Adventure, the Barf-Meter for Universal Epic Universe. Now, one thing I'll say is I generally think this park is pretty motion sickness friendly, and a lot of you said the same thing in your comments. A lot of your write-in things were, I've gotten nauseous on other rides and I was pleasantly surprised that nothing really made me nauseous. I thought I might get nauseous on this, but I didn't, and I left feeling pretty good, and that's how I feel as well. Like I said, there are other rides that make me incredibly motion sick at both the Universal parks and the Disney parks, but for some reason people tend to bag on Universal more, saying that those rides make them more nauseous. It's probably because they're more intense. Some of the attractions use screens, but Disney rides use screens too. All right, we gotta stop this saying only Universal uses screens and then saying we love Flight of Passage. All right, everybody uses screens, everybody uses all the technology, but if a ride makes you motion sick, that's okay. It's just good to know that maybe that ride isn't for you, and that's also okay. But ultimately, it's good to know that here at Epic Universe, with these 11 attractions, I think very few of them are gonna make a lot of people motion sick, and hopefully this video and hearing from me, as well as some other folks in the Man Fam, has helped you decide what to prioritize on your vacation and what to look out for. If you've got any motion sickness tips, like any medicine you found successful or any tricks of the trade, definitely drop those down in the comments. Let us know any ride that's made you nauseous here or it made you motion sick here so the Man Fam can read that as well. And check out our other Epic videos. We have so many things to help you prepare to visit the newest theme park in the world. And until next time, friends, make sure to rate, review, subscribe to our channel, follow us on social media, come hang out with the Man Fam on Discord, check out our Patreon for behind the scenes content and more. And until next time, friends, I'm Molly, and it has been not nauseating at all. Literally, I feel great.